Hi, hello. Jamie Thor here, and I am going to talk about how emotional quotient or EQ gives a competitive advantage to promote growth mindset. What is emotional quotient? Well, emotional quotient is often in leadership circles. It's compared to IQ, so emotional quotient versus um intelligent quotient. But really, basically, this really taps into your ability to lead, motivate, and persuade. So we've been talking about this forever. When I was a little girl, my dad talked to me about um Dale Carnegie, right? So a lot of information is out there. Back then, I think there was much less research, but there are authors, I would say, in America that have been talking about this for a long time. And then presently, we've got biggies like um, Anthony Robbins and the late Zig Ziglar, who I think Tom is his son's name. There's just a lot of leadership information out there. So a leader who possesses high emotional quotient or emotional intelligence uses their ability to recognize and understand their own emotions. So, how am I right now? And the emotions of the people around them, i.e., their team, in order to make informed decisions. A really easy space, I think, to push into is American football or soccer. Soccer coaches, wow, yeah, and so or football, right? For our global soccer, sorry guys, I really do come from the lens of American, and I know that's not appealing for many of you, but anyway. So um, one of the very important things about emotional quotient is empathy, and it's not necessarily as soft and gushy as it's more like, oh, I got it, that person just had a whole bunch of personal crap, avalanche on them, and they need a pep talk, or they need to be told, yeah, you got this, or things along those lines. It's not, sappy and soft, weak and pitiful, unhelpful feedback. Okay, so empathy, and it is it's being attuned to others so that your perspective is solid in making decisions and getting results. So I have something in front of me here. I'm just going to quickly go over this, and it says, I'm going to give credit. This is from Gordon Treegold website, and it says the leader's leader, which I love, the trained a trainer. Hey guys, sorry, I'm going to flip my camera around. The glare is horrible here. All right, maybe this is better. Okay, back on topic. So 10 ways to improve your emotional intelligence and become a better leader. Let me just tell you one quick story. I go get my car washed once or twice a week. It's just kind of like a thing for me. I like to have a clean car. I got a great big old dent in there. I can't seem to get out, and people notice it and they mention it, but still, I'd like to have a clean car on the inside and outside. For me, it's like a shower. It's like brushing your teeth. It's like, and it's an environment that I'm in frequently. So it is important to me that it is neat, clean, and that the outside, that I don't have dust all over it. There's a young man who is there at the car wash that I frequent, and he's very in tune. He's in tune with me. He's in tune with other people. Just a sharp, sweet, good young guy. Now he is right around the age of my youngest son, and him and I sometimes will slam down conversations, and I will give him tips and tricks and ideas because of my background, and just because I enjoy doing that. And so he told me he's getting a promotion. We talked about P&L. We talked about leadership. And he is wonderful because he's young, he's curious, and he wants to learn. So I give him some tips and tricks about um, management. And the reason I feel very comfortable in doing that is that, I have over 20 years of human resources experience. A portion of that is benefits administration, but when you are contending and dealing with problems such as corporate benefits, you have to actually take into consideration the players and the concerns at hand. And so I'm not going to go into my resume, anything like that. But in addition to that, I had the first segment, the first life cycle of my human resources experience. I sat under and was led by a gentleman who was a former Toyota HR person, and I learned a ton from him. And so his integrity was without question. His ability to maintain composure was phenomenal, but he cared about people, and he also cared about the results that we attained. And so I feel like experience young people is of great value. So props and cheers to this young man who is jumping right in. He's becoming a supervisor and he wants to learn about management for a local car wash. I encourage all of you ladies and gentlemen to do something to that effect. It is different than being a leader on a sports team where you have a head coach and then you're the captain. So anyway, and also young people, it is good for you to work. It is. So that's that. Okay. So 10 ways to improve your emotional intelligence and become a better leader. First and foremost, let me just tell you, you do not need to have people reporting to you to be a leader. You can lead and grow where you are planted. So excellence can be exhibited. I had a gentleman who worked at a call center that we were operating, our team was operating, and he was from Jamaica, right? He had that Jamaican accent and this man was just a very hard worker. I always appreciated him, and he was very mindful, always busy, always working hard, and he took pride in the results that he got. He was a good person. And honestly, to me, he was a leader and he was a pleasure to have around. And I thoroughly enjoyed that. I can give you tons of examples of other people like that I have either observed or worked directly with in my career. Okay, 10 ways to improve your emotional intelligence and become a better leader. 1, listen twice as much as you speak. Also, listen to understand. Sometimes people's word choice is not on target. They might mean something different than they say out loud. So be an effective listener. That is a whole study all in itself. Believe it or not, it actually it increases others' productivity when they feel listened to and seen. I see that in young people and people over the age of 18 alike. Number 2, respond rather than react. I had a director early in my career, and I would come to her and I would be emotionally upset or concerned. And I was trying to advocate for certain things, but I would be very, very emotionally caught up. I remember this is what she would do. She would go like this. She would go, hmm, 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 hmm. I mean, I don't know that she did this, but. And so she would slow me down just by doing that, right? I mean, let's pause. Let's take some time here and let's think this through. So, responding rather than reacting is just peppered in all kinds of leadership and effective management effective management literature and practices. So again, mind that there's Stephen Covey is the first person that comes to mind, because when I got out of high school, I read, or college rather, one of those two. No, I'm sure it was high school. My dad gave me the book, 7 Steps of Highly Effective People, and I would write out, but that there's a space between something that happens, and there's a dash, and then your response. And so take the time. Okay. Number 3, build or put yourself in the other person's shoes. Sometimes this is completely impossible, but I'm going to tell you that I probably have a very good example of a situation that most people could not put their selves exactly in my shoes with. Now, it's not as raw as it was, but my husband died by suicide in 2018. Probably the most intelligent and effective words that were said to me is, I don't understand where you are or what you're going through, but I'm here for you. And that is, okay, my situation, so extreme. Most people do know somebody who has unfortunately died by suicide, lost hope, and made a permanent decision for a temporary problem. And it is just very painful. But people in the workplace often deal with grief, often deal with frustration, often are dealing with troubled kids or a troubled marriage, or parents, or troubles in their family, and that we carry these. We are human beings. We carry things inside us, and emotionally, we need to be understood. So that's a tip for, if you don't, and actually, I think honesty goes very far. If you don't understand where someone is coming from and you're articulating that goes a long way. I will tell you one thing that was ineffective. Again, this is not necessarily a work performance thing, but I think it's something that can be a transferable example. But there was a secretary in one of the schools that I substitute taught at, who, when she found out my husband died, she goes, "Yeah, I had a terrible divorce. I know how you feel." Absolutely not apples and oranges. Absolutely not empathizing. So yeah, I hope that's helpful. Continue. Number 4, apologize directly when you are at fault. Okay. Nothing helps to build trust and rapport quicker than owning and taking responsibility for a mistake or misunderstanding that you were part of. So many times people do this, the blame game, blame shame game. It is absolutely ineffective. No blame, no shame, knock it off. It destroys trust. Be the big person, admit if your responsibility, if you have fault or guilt, just admit it, apologize, commit to learn from it, and go on. Okay, number 5, don't interrupt or change the subject. Okay. There is something that drives me crazy, and there are people in my life who do this, and that is when I ask them a question, they don't answer the question with directly. They give me some other answer. That is, so in other words, they're changing the subject. And I would much rather somebody just directly say, I don't know, or I don't want to talk about that. But it's really challenging if somebody is trying, if you're okay. So this is a thought, like when we have difficult conversations or we discuss topics that are hard, these can unveil uncomfortable feelings within people. When that happens, we may desire to change the subject and avoid our feelings. Don't. Stay with the conversation, listen, feel the emotion. Try not to let it control you. And no, this is not easy, but this is personal human growth, people. So it will become easier with practice, and you will be able to have critical and crucial conversations more easily as you go forward. Okay, number 6, be vulnerable. Leaders do not have to be superheroes heroes. And when we show we are human and show some vulnerability, it allows us to connect with the people around us. And so Brene Brown, actually, she goes around and she talks to corporate board of directors who are very, very much removed from many of the organizations. And she talks about and tries to get them to understand the nature of vulnerability. You should check her out. Okay. Vulnerability promotes respect. So I will not give any examples, but I will tell you I have experienced that firsthand. Empathize with others. This one is a very common training topic, I think, for supervisors, leadership, etc. It's not always as simple as it sort of ties into the other one. But anyway, the empathy is about understanding why someone is behaving or feeling a certain way. So you have more insight and more information. It is also being able to communicate that you are giving them understanding, time, and space for that. So to better empathize, and understand why people react the way that they do, it's saying to notice the way that you feel, ask yourself why you feel that way or what has triggered the feeling. And the more we understand our own emotional responses will help us comprehend and understand others more empathetically. Okay. And then number 8, create a positive environment. Okay. I have a person in my life who is a mentor and former football player, former football coach, is a leader, author. It's just a God thing. And so this man creates a positive environment wherever he goes. It is so cool. And so this says we can create a more positive environment just by smiling more. Okay. And then when we smile, I think it was Zig Ziglar that said, a smile. No, it wasn't. It was before my dad told me this. So a smile is something that is a universal message in all languages. So a warm smile or a welcoming smile or generally does not communicate negativity. So anyway, unless you're watching some wackadoodle cartoon where like you've got the Joker, ha ha ha. Okay, sorry. I shouldn't have said that. Okay, here we go. So when we smile, we release endorphins that make us feel less stressed, more relaxed. Smiling is contagious. And when we smile at someone, it encourages them to smile back, which makes them feel less stressed and more relaxed. So a happy environment not only has positive health benefits for everyone, but happy people are productive people. So yesterday I actually was out with somebody and we were talking about Arnold Palmer because I ordered one. And we got on the subject of his diplomacy. He was a diplomat, I believe. But the person that I was with was saying his demeanor and the way he was just so relaxed and strong. I love that. Okay, here we go. Ask, do not tell. Okay. Nobody, particularly adults, but no one really likes being told what to do. So people know when you're the boss. People know when you're the leader. So when you ask people to do something, likely they're not going to refuse. When we ask, we show respect. It changes the tone in which it changes the tone of the environment. When we tell people, it's much more like a command, and really nobody wants to be commanded. So, yeah. Number 10, praise more. Find things that are positive If you do not know the word edification, look that one up. That's a good word, baby. So while it's true that flattery will not get you everywhere, praising people when they do a good job certainly will get you far. We all crave recognition. When we recognize, or what people recognize often gets repeated. Be aware of what's going on around you and look to praise people that you see are doing a good job, that also do good and kindnesses for others. I'm actually inserting some words into this guy's website. So, but people like to be praised in private. Other people like to be praised in public. Either way you look at it, you want to consider it like gasoline and fuel in a gas tank. Okay. So it's encouragement. Okay. So the more you tune up our praise, or more you tune up your praise to individuals in need, the more impact you will have. So these are tips and tricks, and they should significantly help you improve your emotional intelligence skills. And I hope that this gives you some ideas and practical practices that you can apply directly in any and all of your situations: family, sports, work, civic volunteering, etc. So social circles. Okay. So emotional quotient gives people an edge because rather than ignoring the human factor, and by the way, I'm just going to insert this. This is what AI is. In 2023, AI was released. In 2024, 2022, in November 2022, it was released. 2023, I dabbled in it and played with it. And I tried to out-compliment AI, ChatGPT, I think it was 4, on New Year's Eve. It was the most enjoyable experience ever. Like all my endorphins were going crazy, but it was just hilarious to me because I knew I was interacting with a computer. Anyway, but when we are interacting with people, another fun example really quick is I have a friend, her name is Jill, and she's a great mom. She's got 4 boys, and so cute. She's very down to earth, and she and I our boys were very, very, I almost dare say almost best friends, as they were growing up. And Jill and I decided, oh my gosh, let's go to the Sylvania, that's where we live, art fair, and compliment all the starving artists. That was our MO. That was our little mission. We laughed and had the most fun. And it was just so fun. So try that. So try that. And do it with people you love, do it with people you don't know. I think you will find that it impacts your own disposition as well. But EQ gives leaders an edge because rather than ignoring the human factor of emotion, they become more understanding. They're more attuned to their teams, the situation around them, and this gives them perspective and an edge when making decisions for opportunities, optimal results, and best practices. So yeah, that's it. That's a wrap. And check me out at Thor Wellness Group. It's been a pleasure to be here today. Again, thanks for joining me, and please subscribe. Have a great day. And I just want to say, Opa, right? See ya. Bye.